Coming up next, On the Spot, we've got multiplayer shoot-'em-up madness with Jamestown Legend of the Lost Colony. For slightly less shooting, we'll also check out the new map packs in Killzone and stop shooting entirely to just smash into each other in Backbreaker Vengeance. We also do some post-E3 looks at Wii U, Modern Warfare 3, and Battlefield 3, get the latest in digital downloads, and get you started in Dungeon Siege 3. We're live and on the spot.
Hey everybody, and welcome to On the Spot. I'm Sean McInnes here filling in for Chris Waters, who's out on vacation at the moment. I think gallivanting somewhere through picturesque New England, I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know what Chris is doing right now. All that matters is that we're here for another great episode of today, or for On the Spot. We've got some great trivia prizes to give away. We've got some signed Fear posters signed by John Carpenter. We're giving away a special On the Spot Xbox, which is going to be awesome. And we've also got a lot of other great stuff to give away as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we're going to get to our very first demo of the show. And as you can tell, we've got a familiar face here. We've got Greg Kasavin from Supergiant Games here to show us Bastion.
How's it going?
It's going very well. Now that I got that extremely long-winded introduction out of the way, Greg, Bastion is a game that's been getting a lot of buzz, and the release is coming up fairly soon, right?
Yeah, no matter what at this point. We actually don't even know our exact release date yet, but what we do know is we're part of the Summer of Arcade on Xbox Live, which starts on July 20th and goes for 5 weeks. So we'll be in there somewhere, and yeah, the news about Summer of Arcade happened right during E3, and we were just absolutely thrilled about that.
All right, excellent. So you've got a new level that you're going to show us.
Yeah,
here.
This is we like to let people play Bastion from the very beginning, since kind of the narrative technique and a lot of the gameplay aspects reveal themselves kind of right away. But we did want to show something new from later on in the game as part of E3, and this is it. It's an area of the game called Rothus Lagoon. You're here for reasons that I will not get into. But,
no spoilers.
But this shows, for people who've seen the game and some of the environments and enemies and stuff where it starts off, this will give you a taste of how some of the later encounters unfold. This is from about halfway through. Show you some of our new weapons and things. I think you've actually played with this one called the War Machete.
Oh,
that's a much faster.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and then we have here the Scrap Musket, which is essentially a shotgun. It can blow these guys back and knock them clear off of ledges and whatnot. So people see that we're an action RPG, and we start you off with weapons like a bow and a hammer and things like that. So they might initially assume that it's kind of your medieval arsenal, but then it's part of our setting that we like to kind of play around with time period and show that there are these things that are a little more technologically advanced than what you get in your typical kind of fantasy game.
Now, for anybody out there who's not familiar with Bastion, I feel a little bit guilty right now because we're actually talking over one of the coolest elements of the game, which is this sort of real-time narrator who's describing most every bit of, every plot point, almost every action in the game. Greg, talk about your experience working on that narrator and what I'd imagine was probably a huge pain in your butt to implement.
Oh man, it was a ton of work, but I never saw it as a pain in the butt because it was like one of the most rewarding things I've ever gotten to work on. As you said, the game is fully narrated. It's a pervasive part of the experience, and the narrator isn't just there to kind of give play-by-play. He's there to kind of deepen your actions in the world and give the context for why you are in the locations that you're in and why you're doing what you're doing and whatnot. And he'll often respond to the actual actions that you take in the levels as you indicated. So hopefully it's a really good balance of kind of a crafted story that also feels very personal to the decisions and choices that you make.
When I got to play, I think it was maybe the first hour when you left a build of this game behind a while ago, and the moment that it really hit me that this was like something completely different was after I went into my, I think it was one of the upgrade screens where you go and you change one of your items there,
Yeah.
and he actually mentioned which item I put in and
Yeah.
gave me a reason for it, and I was like, holy crap, that is cool.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we did a lot of, part of the mindset was, we've played a bunch of games where they'll have these cool moments where like the game will feed back on something that you did. But often that'll only happen like maybe once or twice in the game. Like an example I think of is even in something like Uncharted 2, the first time you get grenades, there's a big convenient box of grenades laying there, and Drake, Drake goes, he does one of his kind of smart-ass quips, and he goes like, "Oh, isn't this convenient?" Because it's the grenade tutorial. But he speaks for what the player is thinking, and our mindset was kind of like, why don't we just fill the game with stuff like that instead of having it be in one or two spots? So hopefully, players will run into a lot of it as they play, and again, feel like they had a totally unique experience compared to what someone else's playthrough.
All right, so yeah, go ahead.
And we're seeing here some of I have this other weapon here, which I don't think you did see, called the Brusher's Pike. So this is like one of our heavier long-range melee weapons, also able to be thrown and stuff like that. The whole intent of our weapon design in this game is it's not the sort of action RPG where you're constantly replacing weapons with like stronger versions of weapons. Instead, it's all about like finding weapons that really suit your playstyle. So all the weapons have their own unique mechanics to them, and their own strengths and weaknesses and whatnot, designed to be totally viable all the way through the game.
So a weapon like, that war machete that you get early on into the game, that's still going to be useful in the last level?
Yeah, absolutely. They're all like fully upgradable and have like branching upgrade paths and stuff like that. So the choices you'll be making are around, whether you want to continue investing in weapons that you have or play around with the new stuff that you got. We make sure you get a chance to try everything before you can make those kind of choices. So here's our arsenal screen, and you can access this during a lot of the levels, or you could pick between all the different weapons available to you. So this is like halfway through the game, and we already have 6 different weapons. So you can kind of extrapolate from there. I picked kind of a cool special ability here, the Pike Vault, where you have like special moves with every weapon as well. So this one, you can kind of go flying off the screen and come down spear first to land on top of guys.
So we've got a live chat going. Anybody who's watching the video right now, you can click that little join the chat button, and you'll be able to connect with some of our other viewers and ask us some questions live during the show. Greg, I've got one here for you from, I think, Lim Ak, if that's how I pronounce your username. If not, I apologize. I was wondering about the status of a PC version of the game. It's obviously coming to Xbox Live Arcade. Should we expect a PC version?
You should indeed. We have confirmed that the game is debuting on Xbox 360 and then coming to PC later this year. Since we're a team of 7 dudes, we are. It's like we don't have the game developed on every platform at the same time, so we're developing the game serially. So the 360 version of the game is pretty much complete now, and we'll be moving on to make sure, taking the time to get the PC version right. But our focus right now is entirely on the 360 launch, because basically, whatever happens next for us is going to be heavily influenced by what happens with the first launch of this game. On console. So, but yeah, we always set out to make this game kind of feel like a grand journey, and the stuff that you played previously is all kind of in this ruined city type of environment. So as you can see here, we go kind of further out into the wild, into some rather strange places here. With dangerous things lurking in the grass.
It's a very distinct art style, very distinct enemy design. Can you tell us a little bit about the guys who did the art on this game?
Yeah, the guys who did the art is actually a young lady named Gen Z. She's our artist. She's responsible for all the 2D, basically all the artwork that we have here. We're huge fans of her work, and it's been great to see like the recognition that she's been getting. We wanted to make a 2D game. We wanted a game that was colorful and kind of expressive, but moody at the same time. And when Jen joined the team, we had an idea of the tone that we wanted to strike with Bastion, but we didn't know what the look was going to be. And as soon as Jen kind of got familiar with the fiction, she kind of nailed the look right away, and that was really exciting. And people are always surprised to find that we have one artist, because they're like, how did you do all that? And,
right.
But yeah, when we can move pretty fast being a small team, thankfully.
What's the total development time on this game? When did you guys like really start cranking on this?
It's been almost Amir and Gavin, who are the co-founders of the studio, they started working on the game basically as soon as the company was formed in September of '09. So it's been almost 2 years in the works now. But yeah, about 2 years.
Okay.
A lot of late nights.
We've got a question here from a user with a borderline vulgar name of Salty Meatballs, who is wondering what games inspired you.
Oh man, this is always I should have a better answer prepared for this, because this comes up a lot. But unfortunately, the answer is it's really like a whole bunch of different stuff. It's not any one or two things. And in fact, since we're a small team, I think everyone on the team brought their own personal influences to bear, not just as far as games go, but other media like books and film and what have you. For me personally, I'm heavily influenced by like what I consider kind of the golden age of games, which is the late Super Nintendo era, like the mid to late '90s,
right.
When you had these games like Chrono Trigger and Super Metroid, that I think were just these extremely well-crafted games. But then kind of the PlayStation era happened, and I think a lot of that knowledge of how to make these great 2D games, it just kind of went away. People had to relearn how to make games almost entirely, and they started struggling with 3D cameras and all that kind of stuff. So we were interested in kind of following in that tradition and seeing what we could do, almost like, if people could keep making, if people still made games like that today, what would they look and feel like? But as far as the combat and stuff goes, it's not just Diablo, which is of course, kind of the quintessential action RPG. It's also the stuff like Bayonetta and Ninja Gaiden, games that we think have really good combat in them, even though they're not necessarily action RPGs. So yeah, we draw influences from everywhere. We play all kinds of different stuff.
All right, cool. Well, Greg, I've mentioned this to you before, so it's old news, but the game is looking awesome. Thanks a lot for dropping by.
Yeah.
We mentioned this at the beginning of the program, but go ahead and remind everybody the general window of time when you expect Bastion to be available to download.
So Bastion is coming to the Xbox 360 this summer as part of the Summer of Arcade program, which starts July 20th. So somewhere between late July, late August, we'll be out there.
All right.
So I can't wait to see what everyone thinks.
All right, thanks a lot, Greg.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, everybody, so that was your look at Bastion, and now we're going to toss over to a new video feature that we've got called E3 Aftermath, and we're going to examine the differences between Battlefield 3 and Modern Warfare 3. Let's have a look.
Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of E3 Aftermath, where we tackle some of the big topics that came out of E3 2011. I'm joined by Kevin Van Ord.
Hey, Lo.
Hi.
Hi.
And Sean McInnes.
Hey, Giancarlo.
Hi. So, gentlemen, today we're going to talk about Battlefield and Modern Warfare. I mean, these two really heavy hitters of the video game industry are seemingly going head-to-head this year. And I just kind of want to start this off by talking about just, people kind of assume that these games are kind of similar, I think. I think they just sort of see the theme. They think, okay, these are kind of similar games. But we know that Battlefield and Modern Warfare are actually kind of different. Can you guys, any of you, really go into sort of more detail about what these games are all about?
I think when you're talking about Battlefield, you have to look at its DNA as like a huge, massively multiplayer online action game that originated with these huge different levels with lots of vehicles and whatnot in them. And that's something that we're seeing in Battlefield 3. In fact, the E3 demo was focused on this big open desert area with all these tanks and everything. And that's different from Modern Warfare, which is traditionally like an on-foot combat first-person shooter series. So that's one of the big key differentiators. And just the fact that this is a PC lead platform game, and you can see that with how amazing this game looks. Kevin?
I mean, you're absolutely right. And when I think of Modern Warfare 3, I think, any Modern Warfare game, I think of something that's probably going to be, in terms of the online experience, something that's very pick up and play. Something that a lot of people are going to be able to, hey, I'm going to pick this game up, I'm going to get immediately into it. It's going to be constantly rewarding me, no matter what it is that I'm really doing. And Battlefield is traditionally something that happens across a different kind of pace. I mean, this is a game in which you have to think about squads, you have to think about teams, you have to think about how you're going to transport people to the thick of the battle, how you're going to get people into the firefights, and you're going to do that not just on the ground in a tank, but you're also going to get into helicopters, you're going to get into jets, you're going to do whatever. And that's very exciting.
As we know, the multiplayer element of these games is absolutely huge, and obviously EA knows that, and Activision has known that already. But what does EA need to do to kind of compete or even maybe surpass the juggernaut that is Modern Warfare multiplayer with Battlefield 3? I mean, what needs to happen?
Well, the Modern Warfare series has sort of, it's taken that XP-driven carrot on a stick multiplayer sort of formula, and it's just like refined it like to such a brilliant level. And the Battlefield series, I mean, it obviously started out as a big multiplayer game, but it hasn't really been on par with the Call of Duty series in terms of, giving players just those constant rewards that are just compelling them to keep, play the game, continue playing it, and just keep them addicted, basically, in one way of putting it. So I think that that's sort of going to be the big indicator of where, Battlefield catches up to the Modern Warfare series.
And Kevin, a question I want to ask you is, Modern Warfare, typically those games are pretty scripted. What do you think sort of makes that? I mean, is that something that lends itself well to this kind of experience, or do you think that something like Battlefield can learn something from the way that Modern Warfare scripts its events?
Well, I think it depends on whether you're looking at the multiplayer experience or the single-player experience. And assuming that you're talking about the single-player experience, I mean, Battlefield, the traditional Battlefield games, as opposed to Bad Company and Bad Company 2, have their single-player experience has been essentially, if I'm looking at the PC games alone, they've been essentially just the multiplayer experience with bots, essentially. Right. And this is where, I mean, we already know that Battlefield 3 is going to be, kind of picking up some of that slack by, giving us a more scripted single-player experience, which I'm absolutely fine with, and I think in a way that's kind of what they needed to do to be able to compete, for our attention, at least compete for the attention of people that are really into Modern Warfare. What does this game have for me? I know the multiplayer is going to be different, but they're still giving us, kind of a scripted single-player experience that I think, may end up being really interesting, based on how they're, they've kind of taken the cue from Modern Warfare game.
Well, certainly, if you're a fan of first-person shooters, there's going to be no shortage of options coming up for you. As always, if you want to check out more on Battlefield 3 or Modern Warfare 3, you can check out GameSpot.com.
All right, folks, so that was E3 Aftermath, and now we are on to the news segment of the program. I've got Tor Thorson here to give us all the news that's fit to print.
Or fit to put in the web, anyway.
Fit to print
on the web without ink, yes. Okay, let's see. First up, this morning they announced that LA Noire is coming to the PC this fall, which will be fun, good news for all the PC gamers out there. Mm-hmm. The port's being handled by Rockstar Leeds, even though the original game was being held by the Australian studio Team Bondi. It's going to support 3D graphics. They didn't say what kind, but we're presuming stereoscopic.
Right.
And it will run on a wide range of PCs, quote unquote, and all support keyboard remapping and gamepads. So that's good news for PC gamers.
Yeah, absolutely. Although it's kind of a surprise because there's still no word on a PC version of Red Dead Redemption.
That is kind of a surprise. I mean, obviously the comments were kind of crying, why?
Why no Red Dead?
Why no Red Dead? That's still kind of a mystery. There's a lot of there's a lot of money to be had there. I don't know.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of a lot of money, they also announced that LA Noire has shipped 4 million units worldwide now.
Okay.
That's including the nearly 900,000 copies it sold in May, in the 2 weeks after its mid-May release in the U.S.
Okay, so 4 million is pretty good.
Pretty good, but again, remember that's shipped, not sold through. So that means they could be sitting in warehouses.
They're sitting in the back of a Kmart somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so LA Noire PC this fall. Speaking of Rockstar games, we learned from a source that Grand Theft Auto 5, or the next Grand Theft Auto, whatever they're calling it, development on the game is well underway, whatever that means, quote unquote. But that's good news. It's not exactly a bold prediction that this just in, Rockstar is going to make another Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
But it's nice to know that it's still in the works.
Definitely.
It's having the final touches such as mini games being applied to it, and our sources said that a 2012 release is pretty likely.
Now, a lot of other rumors have suggested that the setting for this game is sort of going to return to the Los Angeles area from San Andreas,
yes,
right?
Los Santos, yeah. Despite much goading, our sources wouldn't reveal the setting of the game, but there's been a whole host of voiceover, job listings like that for talent to do voiceover that were all like kind of like Hollywood crazy people, which sounds very Grand Theft Auto-y. But our source,
crazy people sounds about right.
Yeah. But our source did say that the scope of the game is going to be vast, so maybe that would point towards kind of Los Santos recreation of LA,
right,
on the same kind of huge scale, which I think would be really cool. I mean, I guess they already did recreate LA though for LA Noire, so who knows?
That's true. Just drop it all into the same city.
And throw some more skyscrapers in there, and they're all done.
Add some modern amenities, and you're done. Call it a day.
Right. Speaking of sales, at the Games for Change Festival in New York, Valve president Gabe Newell said that Portal 2 has sold 3 million units. He didn't say on what platforms. He didn't say if it was sold in or sold through to consumers. But that's still pretty good figures for a game. That just came out in mid-April.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's because on the day it came out, they announced that not including Steam figures, the original Portal had sold 4 million units, including sales of the orange box. So that game came out in 2007. So considering Portal 2 is selling a lot faster.
All right.
Which is pretty good.
Definitely. It's interesting that Gabe Newell mentioned that they're interested in the Wii U.
That's right. At the same conference, he did mention that. He said that the power of the Wii U is more in line with Valve's technology, which is obviously
scalability.
The scalability was his exact terms. So that'd be interesting to see what they could do. Maybe Portal on the Wii U. That would be pretty. Portal 2 on the Wii U. You heard it here first.
There's got to be some cool ways to use that screen in Portal. I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, they point it. You with the screen, you can point it, and the graphics will move, accordingly. So that would be a pretty neat idea. And less welcome news, Microsoft announced that they're going to use Kinect to make interactive ads on the Xbox 360.
Oh.
And check this out. So they're called new ads, natural user interface ads. So an ad will run, and you can say Xbox tweet, and it will prompt the console to issue a message about the ad to the viewer's Twitter feed. You can say Xbox more, and the sponsor will send an email to your email account.
Oh.
You can say Xbox near me, and it will send a text message with a link to a map that shows the nearest retailer carrying a certain product. The product advertised.
Really?
Yeah, to your phone. You can also say Xbox schedule, and then the 360 will send a text message to remind you when an average TV program is airing. So you can do all sorts of fun stuff. And you can also use your motion control to select clothes or even quote-unquote pizza toppings.
That is interesting.
So maybe this is a crazy future where you can order your pizza on the Xbox 360.
I have played some Kinect games that did not use the motion control interface all that well. I'm worried that I'm accidentally going to order pizza with
anchovies.
And I actually like anchovies, so I wouldn't mind that, but pizza with, I don't know.
Just flail around and put a whole bunch of random toppings on there.
Yeah, exactly. I want all of it. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, but it's obviously advertisers are excited about this, but
I would imagine.
I can't imagine. And seeing how Microsoft in its last in-game ad deal wasted $200 to $400 million, I can't really, they got massive. I don't know. I find it pretty insidious myself that your Xbox will be able to know your cell phone and be able to text stuff to it. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Last but not least, Sony Computer Entertainment America President Jack Tretton got asked, will the Wii U's 2012 release kind of force Sony to move forward the release of the PlayStation 4? Mm-hmm. And this was his quote. His quote is basically, we've got a long way to run behind it, meaning the PS3, so no, I wouldn't look for any discussion of next generation PlayStation for quite some time, quote unquote. So don't expect PlayStation 4 to come out anytime. Of course, they might, they'll probably show it off next year at E3 just to spite us.
You think so?
I don't know. I mean, they keep talking 10-year life cycle.
Yeah, that's sort of been the buzzword.
But that doesn't mean they won't reveal it. They revealed the PlayStation 3 about 6 years into into the PlayStation 2's life cycle. So
I just hope they unveil it with a crazy, ridiculous controller that never makes it into production, like the Batarang.
I like the Batarang.
You like the Batarang?
That look cool. Otherwise, now it's just like it's another DualShock. It's like
that's true.
It just looks the same.
I can only hope.
I like the stylish. I was a big Batarang fan.
You're a big Batarang fan. You were hoping to like throw that and maybe catch a few criminals.
Well, I mean, usually when I throw controllers, they don't make it back intact. So it'd be nice to have one whiz back and I could catch it again versus explode on the floor like they usually do. So.
All right, Tor. Well, thanks a lot for coming by.
No problem. And for more headlines, go to news.gamespot.com, people. I don't know what camera I'm looking at.
Bookmark it. Make it your homepage.
Make it your homepage. Check it every hour on the hour.
All right. Excellent. So, all right, everybody. So that was the news. Now we're going to take a look at another E3 Aftermath feature, this one on the Wii U.
Aftermath. You make it sound like the apocalypse.
Yeah, it was.
Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of E3 Aftermath, where the GameSpot editorial team talks about some of the big topics that came out of E3 2011. And a few topics were bigger this year than Nintendo announcing the successor to the Wii U. I am joined by Ricardo Torres, editor-in-chief of GameSpot.com.
Hello.
And Tom McShay, associate editor at GameSpot.com.
Hello.
So the first and probably most obvious question is Nintendo trying to reinvent the wheel again with this tablet-equipped controller?
You know, I was looking at some of the pictures we took at the press conference, and I took one where I think it was either Reggie or Iwata standing there, and there's a huge thing that says something for everyone. And it's funny because that's kind of what they tried to do with this tablet. It's got all the buttons that people were complaining about, you know, not being user-friendly on when you had to use the nunchuck and Wii remote. And so it's laid out like you'd expect a normal controller to be, but then you've got this huge tablet there. And it seems like, just based on the stuff that I saw and I played, that they're trying to walk that line, and I don't know that that's... We'll see how that pans out for them, because yes, technically it's possible for you to do a core game on that system and have somebody play it with a controller that feels roughly like what they're used to. And it's also entirely possible to do a super casual game on that thing. It just requires you to like wave the tablet around. So that's all well and good, but I think the question is, saying something and then actually executing on it are two very different things.
Now, Tom, you wrote a reality check last week that kind of talked about how Nintendo tends to paint itself into a corner with its innovation, where they try to create this product that's so unique that they're the only ones that know how to properly harness it. Do you think that they're running the risk of kind of running into that same problem with the Wii U as they sort of did with the original Wii?
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about that, because like, you know, we had years of just having a D-pad and years of just having an analog stick, and now in the last few years we've had, you know, touchscreen integration and gyroscopic stuff, and now the tablet and all these, and the camera was connected, all these different ways to control, but I don't think any of them have been mastered. I don't think the Wii has seen its full potential yet. So I'm kind of disappointed that Nintendo is offering up, I said gimmick, and gimmick has a bad connotation, but offering up another gimmick instead of just focusing on what made the Wii great and how to push that hardware, because the Wii Motion Plus is an incredible controller. So I'm disappointed that they're not like building on what they did in the past, and they keep trying to reinvent the wheel.
So we kind of heard that going into the press conference that this system was going to cater more towards the Western developers and to gain more third-party support for the system. Is that just what we saw at E3? Does that just equate to Nintendo putting in hardware that's sort of on par with the 360 and PS3, so that they see have third-party developers basically say, hey, we're already making this game for the 360 and PS3, let's just make it for the Wii U too? Or is there something else at work here?
Well, I think the challenge, and I'm going to sound real cynical about this, but having covered Nintendo for all my life, I can definitely say that I have a perspective. The challenge with this is that what you're going to see is strong third-party support at launch, just like always, and then where it goes from there is entirely going to depend on how the audience reacts to the content. Do they want to play core games on this device that's very casual friendly, especially if it's maybe at odds with what Nintendo's offering? Because we didn't see any of the first party offerings for what to expect from the Wii U. We obviously heard about a Smash Brothers, but we didn't see what this version of Wii Sports is going to be, or what very specific Wii U titles that Nintendo's making, because in a lot of ways that's going to set the tone. You know, because I think Wii Sports did a phenomenal job of setting the tone for this is why the system's special. And so Nintendo hasn't set the tone yet. And that's definitely going to impact what third parties decide to do, because they're going to know, do I have a shot, do I not? I mean, you look at, you know, And then look at the GameCube. That had a lot of strong third-party support. Probably some of the strongest, I think, Tom, right? Yeah, initially, right at launch, it was like, oh my god, like those first couple months, you're like, holy crap. But then, obviously, things changed. So it's really hard to say because they run real hot and cold, and we've not seen a system really from them that's had kind of extensive third-party support that's kind of commensurate to what it had at the beginning.
Tom, what does Nintendo need to do at this point to sort of convince the hardcore audience that it's serious about catering towards them and getting that third-party support?
Well, for the first question, they need to have new IPs that cater toward modern tastes. I think a lot of people. I mean, I love Mario, I love Zelda, but I want new IPs, and I think a lot of people are from the same thing. It's like we want to see what Nintendo can do when they're really being creative and they're not resting on their past history. So I think if they jump in with like really interesting new IPs of the mold of Pikmin, something that is different and can only be done on the Wii U, I think then the average gamer will take them seriously. As far as third-party support, they just have to offer everything technologically that appeals to third-party studios. It has to be powerful enough and it has to have online. And it has to be versatile enough that you can port games between systems, between the PC. If they offer that, then they'll have their third-party support. But it's also a matter if they have to sell a lot to get those exclusives that made the PS2 something special and the GameCube never had.
Well, one thing about third parties, and I think it's the biggest challenge they've got, is you use the P word, you said port.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's the problem. I think that philosophically, they've got to find a way to make it worth third parties' support, to stop for a second, take a breath, and be like, all right, we've created this experience on the PS3 and the 360. How can we adapt it to take advantage of the Wii U controller? Because I think the big concern a lot of people have is it just going to be, you know, like, here's Batman and here is my utility belt on the Wii U that, you know, in the other game I would call it by hitting a button or something. I think getting people to understand their philosophy towards game development and taking advantage of that tablet controller and getting these third parties to create special experiences that aren't just a port is going to be a challenge, but it's also going to be necessary for this thing to take off.
So we've seen in recent months that Sony's done a really good job of sort of securing that exclusive content, whether it's that level or that character that's not in the 360 version of the same game. Do you see Nintendo doing sort of the same thing here with the Wii U? Do you think they have that same opportunity?
But I think the question, and you guys chime in, is it just going to be like an additional level? Because when you're talking 360 and PS3, it's just here's a character, here's a level, but it's still fundamentally the same experience versus, yeah, we want that extra level, we want that exclusive character, but we also want you to use this tablet controller. We want you to have some kind of an all-new multiplayer mode that only uses this. I think that's where it gets tricky because that's money. And it's not even just incentive to get a third party to develop it for you. It is time out of your dev schedule. It's impacting everything. And I don't know how that's going to work out for them.
So there are plenty of questions still remaining about Nintendo's next system, and I'm sure we'll get answers over the next few months. As always, you can check out all of our coverage of the Wii U at GameSpot.com.
All right, everybody, we are back here with another demo. We've got Kevin Van Ord, the illustrious, world-renowned man about the internet, Kevin Van Ord, who's here.
That's me, all right.
Man about the internet. That didn't make any sense. We've got Kevin here to show us a little game for the PC entertainment system called Jamestown.
Or the PES, as I prefer to call it.
The PES.
Well, here's an interesting fun fact before we begin. So this game is called Jamestown, right?
Okay.
Well, I grew up in a town called Warren, PA.
Okay.
It actually, people actually say Warren, PA, Pennsylvania. So
Warren,
that's actually,
PA.
it's Warren, PA, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So I grew up in this town called Warren, not half an hour from Jamestown.
Which is itself not to be confused with Jonestown, which is a place where a bad thing happened.
Yeah, involving
Like
Kool-Aid
and
of some variety.
a
Oh,
massacre.
yeah. And, or not to be confused
They
with...
did not do that when they all died.
I don't think they said anything because they were dead.
Yeah.
But not to also be confused with Jamestown, New York, which is what I'm talking about. But the game is Jamestown, Virginia, right?
People are starting to doubt whether we actually have a game to show. I can confirm here, a world exclusive confirmation that we are just not talking out of our butts. We actually have the game to show.
So this is actually, this looks kind of colonial when you first look at it. But actually, this is more of a steampunk version of Jamestown, a near future.
And you're not just saying that
kind of
because you
thing.
downloaded it on Steam.
Correct.
Let's, guys, can we get, all right, there we go.
So we're just gonna go ahead and jump into this. This is a shmup. You've heard of a shmup, correct?
Yep.
That's short for shoot 'em up.
Yeah, that is true. It's very short for shoot 'em up.
So I have my special friends, and I'm player 4 because they all beat me to it. My special friends, Curtis Side, Tom McShay, and Carolyn Pettit are over on the side, and they're gonna help me out in 4-player co-op. And there are 4 different ships here in this shmup. I'll take the beam ship because everybody else wants something fancy. The beam ship is what you start the game with.
Nice.
But they decided that I was. So it's interesting because most shmups don't even try to weave any kind of story in what they do. This one's different. And so, as you know from a shmup, we shoot things.
Yep, hence the shit part of shmup.
Exactly. But there are things to... but it is worth pointing out that when we kill things, these medallions drop down. We want to pick those up. We did great. And the reason...
You don't have to pick high-level difficulties. You can play on easy. That's fine. I'm not going to judge you.
No, I'm not going to play on easy. Now, this is the first time I'm playing this co-op. I've played only on my own so far.
Okay.
These jokers are getting in my way.
What a bunch of jokers.
So
do you go for the pink donuts or do you avoid those?
You avoid the pink ones.
Okay.
Those are bad things. You
Bad
pick up the
donuts.
gold ones.
Okay.
Go. Who is it that's playing? That's Curtis. He's our game guides editor, so it only goes to show you that they're actually good at what they do. They know how to play games.
He's
unlike
the
me.
only one in this office who's good at video games.
So we're kind of proving what's going on here is that we're all bad except for Curtis. But now this is, we can't hear this, but this is actually this moody part where oh geez, it's where we're kind of setting the atmosphere here. The music is actually really great in this game. I really, really appreciate the music for its kind of sci-fi colonial combo.
Okay, so
I can't see what's going on.
I can see what's going on. I have literally no idea what is going on, though.
Now we can activate, once we pick up enough of those gold things,
okay.
We can activate what's called Vaunt. And what that does is it allows us to do more damage.
All right.
While we're in that mode, although somebody activate Vaunt so they can show it, so we can show that off. There we go. So now we've got that going on. Now they take less damage, they do more damage, they get more points for what they're doing. And that is what it is all about, is killing.
So, okay, did we talk at the beginning about the setting of this game? That it's a colonial era game set on Mars,
This is a colonial era game set elsewhere. Okay, it is Mars.
On Mars, which is
I'm
when they really
looking over at
started.
Caro, who's played more of the game than I have.
Yeah.
The Martians are affiliated with Spain.
So the Martians are affiliated with Spain,
Oh.
which just goes to show you that Spaniards aren't always taking siestas. Sometimes they attack.
Now, as we all know, the 1600s is when NASA was formed and when they set about on their first space voyage.
That's common knowledge.
I mean, you can look that up on Wikipedia. That's just common knowledge.
Science fact.
That's a science fact.
So this is the kind of game where it's difficult to talk and play at the same time.
Right, but we're gonna make you do
It's
that
difficult
anyways.
to play.
No, I mean, I do not play shoot 'em ups because they are so difficult. I'm kind of a baby when it comes to difficulty in games.
Well, one thing I'm noticing is that things, like you get more, in single player, you don't die as quickly. I'm definitely dying with a few shots, unlike in single player. Okay, so this is, I don't know what this is. Somebody help me out. This is a big one-eyed monster. It's an alien.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. It's a boss. It's the Lady of the Lake. Am I gonna pull out Excalibur if I? Oh wait, that's a different country. I got the R.
There's so much schmupping going on.
There's a lot of schmupping going on. Now this is this taking place in Roanoke? I want to say that this is taking place in Roanoke. There's a lot of talk about like historical figures like John Smith and folks like that, which is, again, it's really fascinating to watch these kind of play out, these little cutscenes and story elements.
So
obviously we don't know to avoid the big beam coming out of its eye.
Kevin, we have a number of audience questions coming in here.
I bet you people are curious about this game.
We have literally tens of audience questions at the moment.
Shoot 'em.
One of them
if
is
they're
from,
about my shirt, that's perfectly fine. If they want to know more about Jamestown, New York, which is where Lucille Ball is from, and 10,000 Maniacs, shoot.
All right. Lim AK wonders, how much harder is it playing co-op versus playing it alone?
It's harder.
It is harder, so they scale up the difficulty then.
As far as I can tell, they're scaling up the difficulty. I'm dying much quicker just with a shot than I did in single player, and I'm playing on this because I'm playing on hard, and I chose hard just now when we were playing.
Sad.
So yeah, so here you got some information on this woman in the woods.
This woman?
Yeah, I'm so glad I can shed light on this game.
I think that we have done a spectacular job of informing people what Jamestown is all about, and just generally being professionals and good at explaining video games.
Well, it's funny because Maxwell McGee is actually the one that's playing this game up close and personal.
Oh, okay.
I only took a little bit of time with it.
All right,
so yeah, that's why I sound kind of nutty.
All right, excellent. So this game, is it already available on Steam?
It is already available on Steam on the PC Entertainment System.
It's available on the Steam Entertainment System. You guys can go out and download this game right now if you want. So yeah, that was Jamestown, and now we are going to have a look at a little starting block segment for Dungeon Siege.
The Legion has been decimated, and only a small band of warriors remain to defend the realm. Our Dungeon Siege starting block will introduce you to the protagonists and their strengths. From the start of the game, you'll have to select from one of 4 heroes. Lucas is a frontline heavy warrior equipped with swords and shields. Anjali is a master of heat, using it to enhance her flaming spear and blast fireballs. Reinhardt is a powerful mage that controls lightning and spell traps. And last, Katarina is an expert markswoman with both rifles and pistols. Choose wisely, as player 1 cannot take control of any other hero during the main campaign. During the course of the story, you'll encounter the other 3 heroes. They will offer to join your party and aid you in the fight. Your party members can be raised and trained just as the main character. They'll earn experience points even if they aren't in the active party. The AI normally controls your ally, but a second player can also jump in. This can be further exploited, as the second player can freely select from the 3 heroes, even if they have not been met during the campaign. Additionally, when the second player drops out of the game, the character they played as will remain by the first player's side. This cheat may allow you to gain all party members right from the start of the game. But numbers won't be enough. You first need to understand how your character fights and how to train them. Each character has 2 offensive stances and 1 defensive stance. The main offensive stance may be more powerful or hit more enemies, but requires getting in close. As you land normal attacks, you'll build up focus and use special abilities. You'll also gain power, which is needed to use your defensive abilities. Your defensive stance will allow you to block, dodge, and use power to cast buffs. As you level up, you'll gain access to 9 different abilities. Recruit, Legionnaire, and Master skills for each of your 3 stances. After gaining one of these 9 abilities, you'll need to customize it with proficiencies. There are always 2 options of how to build your skills, but you can only spend 5 points total in either. Decide what works best for you. For example, do you want Lucas's shield pummel to deal double damage, a guaranteed chance to knock down, or a medium combination of the 2? In general, you'll want to focus on your favorite attack stance and a defensive stance that heals. Once you have extra points to spend, go for buffs that improve your damage and focus, followed by increasing your secondary offense. The final section of leveling is talents, passive traits that improve abilities, increase raw stats, or provide unique bonuses. It's best to follow your own playstyle, but a good backup is to first improve on damage, hit points, and armor. Afterwards, use any remaining points to reinforce focus and health regeneration. There are many challenging fights and loot to be plundered in Dungeon Siege 3. With these primer tips, you'll be ready to spiral down to the depths of even the most daunting abyss. If you require further aid, peer into the Dungeon Siege 3 game guide. This is Curtis said with GameSpot. Enjoy your dungeon crawling.
All right, thank you for that wonderful information, Curtis. We always appreciate when you drop those knowledge bombs upon us. That's what they call those, right?
Yeah.
Knowledge bombs?
When he says it's a bomb.
It's a bomb of information. All right, everybody, we've got another great demo for you. This one is going to be for Backbreaker Vengeance. We've got Tom McShay in the house, the football expert of the office,
Sure.
I think. I mean, you know a lot more about football than I do.
I know a lot about violence also.
You know about violence. You know about tackling dudes.
Yeah.
You know about
breaking backs.
breaking backs. That's perfect. All right, so we've got the game going right here. Why don't you go ahead and hit the old start button, Tom? That looks good. We'll get started here. So Backbreaker Vengeance, just to set the stage for everybody, is kind of a sequel to Backbreaker, which was a full-fledged retail game.
When they looked at the product, they said, what's the weakness?
They said football.
The football was the weakness.
Yeah, so they took out the actual football sim part of it, and what they have here instead is this Tackle Alley mode. Well, they've got a number of modes in here, but what we're taking a look at right now is Tackle Alley, which is, oh boy, which is a mode which basically, it's like this weird arcadey version of football where you're trying to get from point A to point B and collect points and not get tackled along the way. And it was far and away the most fun part about the original Backbreaker, right?
Too.
Yeah, it was. And so this is sort of a revamped version of that. What makes Backbreaker special for anybody who's not aware is this.
This is really easy if you just run straight out.
Yeah, right? It'll get tougher. It'll get tougher in a second. Yeah. What makes Backbreaker special for anybody who's not aware is this thing called the Euphoria engine, which is sort of a combination of a physics engine, an animation engine, and AI as well. It's this sort of crazy hybrid of that. And basically it does real on the fly, really impressive procedural animation. So as you can tell, I'm getting tackled right here, and I'm reacting. You could tell my back got sort of twisted and
it was a backbreaker.
Bent out of shape. He did a backbreaker on me, also known as a tackle. So you can see right there, I'm reacting. That's not a canned animation.
No,
that is a I don't know, procedural? Is that what they call it? I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
All right.
Oh no!
Oh, Tom, what are you trying to do?
Well, I was trying to score a touchdown.
You didn't do it. You did not get the touchdown. Oh, what up, buddy? Oh, look at this. So one of the cool parts about Tackle Alley is that it's a points contest. We're going head to head to try to get as many points as possible. And one of the ways that you get points is by showboating, which basically means taunting people. So you do stuff like this and act like a real jerk. And you can defy the laws of physics by right here. I'm gonna jump over that tackler. Oh, and then I got,
oh no!
Oh no! You got pushed into the lava. You got pushed into the hot lava.
I just got hit really hard. That was great.
Look at me just walking by that tackle dummy.
I want to show the replay of me getting hurt really badly.
Okay, and so one of the most fun parts about Backbreaker is just looking at the replays because they're different every time because the animation is so dynamic. So look at Tom acting like a jerk and then boom! He just gets knocked to the floor. Just boom! Sorry, buddy. Let's try that again. We didn't do so hot that time.
We got hit hard though.
That was bad.
If I'm remembering correctly, I don't think the original game had a full replay.
I don't think it. No, I don't think it did. It did the automated replay. It would pick. The AI would pick what was the most interesting part of it, and it didn't do that all that well most times. So now you can getting tackled when I'm doing a showboat is my favorite thing to do.
I know it is.
So here you can actually go in and in this build of the game, it's an early build. You can't save your replays. I'm hoping that they have that in the final version.
Well, the final version is released Wednesday.
Is it out this Wednesday?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well,
I think it's the 29th, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so maybe they won't have it. Oh, look at this.
Oh, no!
Oh, nice work.
Trying to circle back and take you out.
Nice. You like this? Watch me do this. Oh, no. I was going to try to jump over that.
Oh, we got to do that. We got to use the Y button.
Oh, the Y button is the slide.
Why do you got to spoil the surprise?
Oh, so you slide. You've got a blue guy coming your way. You do the slide on the blue guy.
Where's the blue guy?
You might see him. Oh, no! Okay, let's do a replay of this, because that was just terrible. All right, are they going to show it? I hope they show it because that was abysmal. That was the most embarrassing thing. Oh!
Look at me in the background fall over.
All right, here it is. Here's me. I'm running
We're
up,
professional
and I'm
game
trying to
players.
jump over this hurdle, and I'm like, oh no, I didn't do it. And then I'm just falling to my death.
Yeah.
I like to call, in this game, I like to call the downs deaths, and I like to call the fields levels.
And this is our fifth life.
And I like to call the players enemies.
Yes.
It all makes sense, right? Oh, come on. God damn it. You bumped into me, and it made me trip over. Oh, slide. Oh, that was not That was terrible. That was awful.
That's exactly how Lawrence Phillips would do it.
Lawrence Phillips?
Yes.
All right. That makes sense. Hit the A button.
Okay.
Hit the A button. You can't
Yeah,
just...
everyone's baffled at my Lawrence Phillips reference.
All right, okay, I'm going to slide under this blue dude.
Okay.
Where is the blue dude? No blue dude. Where are you, blue dude?
Ow.
Oh, no. Oh.
This is totally just can't touch the lava from like when I was a kid.
Homer is telling us that we are terrible at this game. I don't think Homer realizes how difficult pretend football actually is.
I know.
God, you're the worst. Why are you just... Come on, at least score a touchdown so we can get to a different stage.
I had to turn around because there was the red.
No more goofing around.
We're getting this done, both of us.
All right, we're actually going to do this.
Beginning to end.
So this game has a few other modes besides just Tackle Alley, which is obviously the one we're playing here. There's Vengeance, which is like you're actually playing the defender. And then there's one called Elimination, which is a sort of 4 players all have the ball at once. I haven't really been able to figure out what that mode is.
Do you want to just go to like a different wave that's really hard?
Do you want to do it like a really hard wave?
Yeah, because like challenge, like a challenge, like
okay,
like we were doing 7 earlier. Let's go higher than 7.
You want to do
8?
What's
the number?
Higher than 7, you say?
What's a number higher than 7? Can you even think of one?
8.
Wow. Okay. So this is unprecedented. Like we've never played this hard.
All right. Here it comes. This is going to be a real crap show.
Yes. So you can jump over them.
Here we go.
Which I did not do.
Oh no! I got disrupted by one of those.
Wait, there's me getting tackled. Okay, I was about to get tackled in the background there.
I prefer not to dwell on our failures.
I kind of like to. That's part of the fun is dwelling on our failures.
That's true. That's actually the most fun thing about this game.
Oh no! Stand up!
Oh, am I gonna make it? Oh, I didn't see that guy.
This is even hurdle.
He's standing right in front of me.
I don't. Oh my God, this is so great.
Did you see me just?
I was jumping over. I jumped over a man just now.
You jumped over a man.
But watch what I'm doing.
Man.
I do some great stuff here.
Oh, nice. Oh, that didn't knock you over?
No, and then I'm still alive after this too.
All right. Oh, and he just. Oh, I almost had that guy.
So I these guys can't tackle me because I'm a star.
Because you're a star.
But then oh my God.
And then you tripping over the stupid little wall.
Yes.
All right, let's try that again. That was terrible.
I know.
That was literally the worst thing I've ever seen with my eyes.
You've seen me do way worse things in this game.
I really have.
Okay, clear a path. I'm going to slide. Okay, I actually slid successfully, which never happens.
Oh, don't.
Stop it. Oh my God!
Yeah, touchdown.
Did you see me slide though?
No, I didn't.
I actually slid.
I had my eyes on the prize.
I was sliding.
I had my eyes on the prize.
It is so hard to slide because it takes you like 3 seconds to get up again.
It really does.
I jumped over 2 men.
You did.
Full-grown men.
2 full-grown football men.
That was me getting up from the slide there.
That was pretty good. You didn't trip like last time.
I know. It's weird. Oh my God.
Wow, that was me. Let's try the next level.
Okay.
Oh, we're almost. Homer is telling me that we need to wrap this up. So this is going to be our last attempt.
This is the last one. It might take a while.
Let's make this count.
Oh God.
Oh, I slid under that guy. That was, that was tight as hell. No, get tackled. You are a football star. Oh, look at this. I'm just going to go ahead and showboat. I'm going to do the super slow one. Yeah! Touchdown. And I did a cartwheel too.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
I got taken out by the. Oh my God!
Yeah, that happened. That happened. So that's real football. That's a real.
Wait, here's me getting taken out. Watch that.
Oh God! And then you broke your neck too. You got like a little concussion going on.
Just a little.
And look at me. I'm just dancing, dancing all day long. All right, that was beautiful. Nice. Great work, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That was a good job.
All right, everybody. So that was Tom and I just totally goofing around in Backbreaker Vengeance, which is coming out soon for Xbox Live Arcade. And now we're going to have a little look at what's happening in the relatively near future in the world of digital downloads.
Bringing you a list of top digital downloads this week on Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, and Wii Shop channel. New this week, since last we spoke, Nintendo introduced eShop for 3DS. eShop is accessed only through your 3DS and forgoes the usual Nintendo point system for plain English cash money pricing. That being said, the top title on Wii this week is for WiiWare and goes by the name of Snail Mail for 600 Wii points. Snails of the future have picked up a considerable amount of speed and responsibility and must race to the furthest reaches of the universe to deliver intergalactic packages. Navigate 50 high-speed levels in postal mode or challenge a friend in multiplayer matches. On XBLA this week, check out Trenched for 1,200 Microsoft points. Our tireless in-house team of review monkeys has already deemed this title an 8.0 for its great combination of tower defense and action gameplay, varied mission structure, and great loot. What is Trenched? Tim Schafer from Double Fine Productions made it, so ask him. I have his phone number around here somewhere. Okay, or you could just watch a review. Next on XBLA is Lucha Fury for 800 of them Microsoft points. Lucha is a wacky beat-em-up set in the world of masked Mexican wrestling. Encounter hordes of loco enemies with up to 4 friends in co-op mode. Curious? Curioso? Curious? There's also a free trial. On PSN this week is Alien Zombie Megadev for $7.99. There are bombs to defuse, space babies to rescue, jetpacks to be flown, and pom-poms to be waved. Enjoy 70 levels of monster-destroying combat. Old but newly available this week, the highest scoring title is Tron Evolution, which rezzed in a 7.0 good score. Tron Evolution drops players into the digital grid with nary but a light frisbee to defend themselves. Exciting free-running sequences, references to the original Tron, and light cycles make this game fun, but beware of repetitive combat and samey level design. Game demos this week see the release of the train wreck Duke Nukem Forever on XBLA. Check out this 3.0 scoring title for yourself, or watch the full review on the GameSpot. In new DLC this week, PSN gives you the goods. Kill Hella Hellgast with the Killzone 3 from the Ashes pack for $4.99. The ISA and Hellgast are still settling their differences through bullet therapy, now on 2 new battlefields and 2 Killzone 2 retro maps. Then read some new faces with the LA Noire Nicholson Electroplating Arson case, free for those with an LA Noire Rockstar Pass. $3.99 for the rest of the human race. Electroplating focuses on an early morning explosion that levels a neighborhood. Doubt me. Finally, be berated for your knowledge with the You Don't Know Jack Pack 4 for $4.99. 10 spanking new episodes include a healthy helping of verbal abuse and trivia. In game trailers this week, you may enjoy footage on XBL, such as the Horde 2.0 briefing for Gears of War 3, and a Factions at War trailer for Bioshock Infinite. On PSN, check out a Call of Duty Black Ops Escalation multiplayer preview trailer, a Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 Heroes trailer, and a Call of Juarez The Cartel gameplay trailer. That's all the time we have, folks. Join us next week for our top picks of digital downloads.
All right, thanks a lot, Aaron Sampson. You are always an entertainer. Now we've got Kevin Van Ord back, another entertainer in his own right,
Yes.
here to show us the Killzone 3 from the Ashes map pack. Is that correct?
That's correct, actually.
All right.
Yeah, and this is already out. It came out this week. The good news is I know more about Killzone 3 than I do about Jamestown.
Excellent.
So we're starting off well. And I'm just now going into one of the 4 new maps, or I should say really 2 new maps, because 2 of them are reworkings of Killzone 2 maps.
Okay.
But this is one of the new maps. It's the Guerrilla Warfare map called Mobile Factory. This one, it's like all of Killzone 3, it's very moody, very atmospheric, and I think the most important thing to note is there's lots of stairways going up and down the sides, as you can tell.
Looks like it.
So it's pretty vertical, as most of Killzone's maps are. So I'm going to try to find dudes to shoot.
Ooh, those grinders look like bad news.
Yeah, they are. You definitely don't want to fall into those. And a little dark on that TV.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But obviously I'm playing as the Hellgast here. And being guerrilla warfare, the most important thing is to go out and kill dudes. There's nothing fancy about this. This is good old-fashioned team deathmatch. And so I'm just going to follow my fellow teammates around until we find dudes to shoot. And maybe I'll actually find somebody to shoot. Nothing seems to be happening in terms of shooting.
Well, you're giving us the real solid look at these stairs and those grinders.
Yeah, the bad thing here, though, is that I do like the more recent map pack, or the last map pack better than this one, I think, and partially is because that had lots of good uses for jetpacks. I don't believe that there is any jetpacking in either of these two maps.
You're a bit of a jetpack connoisseur.
I do like the jetpacks.
That's what we like about you here.
I actually frequently bring in my own jetpack to the office because I feel so strongly about the jetpack.
At which we tell you not to do because it's incredibly dangerous and it just sprays flames everywhere. It smells like gasoline. You killed 7 people already with it.
Yeah, I know. I can't see anything. Sorry about that. I couldn't see it in the TV at all.
We're good. You know what? The most important thing about demoing new maps is showing the bottom of those maps.
That is true.
Because we spend so much time running around top that people don't really get to see those bottomless chasms.
That is very
true.
true.
Where you can fall to your death. We're trying to teach you guys how not to die in these new maps. That's what's important here. Little life lesson from GameSpot.com.
But at least I can see the ammo boxes. So I can bring those back to life. Because I do like playing as an engineer. One thing to note is that the environments have these flying bots up there, and sometimes it's easy to mistake those for player bots, defensive bots.
Just a reminder to everybody in the chat room, we are taking questions if you have any. Also, feel free to just continue talking about Gran Turismo 5, which is what you guys are currently doing right now, which is fine, nothing wrong with that. But we will take questions if you have any.
Yay, questions. And I will switch over to the other map too, because I do think that's worth seeing. I'll try to at least maybe get a kill in. If I can somehow manage to do that.
Just a solid kill.
One solid kill would be great.
I have faith in you.
In the meanwhile, at least I'm going to rack up some points here.
Actually, you know what, Kevin?
What's that?
Homer is telling us that now might be a good time to actually give away some download codes.
Hey, let's do that, because we got like codes for this map pack, right?
We do. We have a number of them. Literally multiple codes.
That is excellent
away.
news.
Yeah. So why don't we do that right now?
Are you sure that's literal?
We literally have an amount of codes to give away for you guys to download the Killzone 3 From the Ashes map pack. So the first, we also have a lot of other trivia prizes, but we're going to start with those Killzone beta, or not beta keys, map pack keys. So the question I've got for you is this. Name the actor that played Admiral Orlok in Killzone 3. If you think you know the answer, go ahead and use that little answer trivia module on the page right to the side and send us an email to onthespot@gamespot.com. I'm looking at Homer for approval to make sure that's still a valid email address that we actually use. All right, he's nodding at me. He's going
Good
like
for
this.
you,
I
Homer.
assume that's a yes, or he's laughing at me because I gave you guys erroneous information. We'll find out later. The second question I've got for you is for another PlayStation download giveaway, which is the Uncharted 3 multiplayer beta, which I believe is going live next week, and we're going to go ahead and give you guys some keys in advance of that so you can get your systems all booted up when it's about to go live. Download that right away to make sure that you are first in that beta. And the question I've got for you is this. In Uncharted 2, what animal could you make silly faces at? It's a very specific animal. I'll give you a hint. It's in the snowy regions of that game. It's an animal that likes cold weather. If you think you know the answer, same method. Use the answer trivia module here or send us an email to onthespot@gamespot.com. We are halfway through the trivia section, folks. We have more to give away. The next one that we've got is this on-the-spot mod for your Xbox. So if you want to put this on your Xbox and make it look really flashy and cool, I believe this is for the newer style of Xbox. Is that correct, Homer? Do you know? Yes, it is. Not for the older style, it is for the newer style of Xbox. The question that I've got for you is, who was the original host of On the Spot?
Oh gosh.
Throw it back to the old days. This should be a familiar face for you guys. I have a feeling that you guys are going to be able to get this one. Same method. Answer trivia module, send us an email on the spot at gamespot.com. I'm not even going to tell you guys that information for this next prize because after 3 turns, I feel that you should know that by now. The next one that we've got for you, something we mentioned at the beginning of the show, we've got a couple signed Fear 3 posters. As you can see, it's got Point Man right here. It's also got Paxton, and it's got Alma right there. And it's signed by John Carpenter and Steve Niles, a couple horror luminaries who contributed to the story of the game.
That is a great word.
Luminaries?
Will you use that more often? Because that makes me happy to hear you say that.
I tend to misuse it. I don't actually know what that word means. Oh. All right, here we go. So the question I've got for you is, in Fear 3, what movie are the challenges all in the reflexes and nothing or double references to? Hint, the movie's director also lent his talents to Fear. Like I said, I'm not even going to tell you. Actually, I will. Answer trivia module on the spot at gamespot.com. That's what you do. So yeah, those are the trivia prizes that we've got for you on the show today. I also want to send a shout out to our friends at Caliber who provided us with these sweet Xbox mods. So thanks a lot for that, guys. Kevin? You have continued to keep playing this even during the trivia section of the show.
I just placed a charge, which made me very happy.
Have you gotten any kills yet?
Yes.
You've gotten some kills?
And
I'm impressed.
Nobody's watching, nobody's paying attention. It's all trivia this, trivia that.
This, trivia that.
To point out, this is the Lente missile base, which is probably the better of the 2 maps as far as I'm concerned. A little less straightforward. One of my favorite things is that you've got, as with most Killzone, They always get me in the end. They always
you just got murdered so
every
good.
time. They fool me. It's my weak spot. Oh well, see, I got an assist out of it, so something to be said for that. But this is probably my favorite. You've got lots of entryways into the key bases. This is a Warzone map, so it probably makes a lot of sense that would be the case. But I really like this map a lot. There's it's sort of reminiscent too of some of the places in Killzone 3 in terms of the art style, which makes me really happy that you see some of these jungle plants.
All right.
Again, really good stuff.
All right, Kevin Van Nord, jungle plant expert, here to show us the new jungle plant additions to the Killzone 3 online map repertoire.
Absolutely.
Kevin, thanks a lot for coming.
It's always my pleasure, you know it.
All right, everybody. So that brings us to the end of another fine episode of On the Spot. Again, I am Sean McInnes. This gentleman right here, Kevin Van Nord. For the rest of the staff, thanks a lot for watching, everybody.
Hope to see you made me die.